2 nations, 2 helicopters, and 2 coherent strategies for air power in Southeast Asia. Indonesia's decision to operate the Apache family and the Philippines' commitment to the lighter ATAK reflect more than procurement choices. They reveal competing answers to the same strategic question. How do you make limited air power decisive in an island-rich, budget-constrained environment? Watching these programs side by side clarifies an essential truth of modern security in the region. Geometry and doctrine matter as much as hardware. Indonesia's acquisition of the AH-64E Guardian places a heavyweight, networked ATAK helicopter at the center of its force design. The Apache is a mature system built around a powerful sensor suite, a data link architecture for cooperative engagement, and a weapons package centered on the Hellfire anti-armor missile. It is expensive to buy, maintain, and operate. Industry figures and regional estimates put the per-aircraft acquisition cost in the order of $60 million, with lifecycle costs that multiply that figure many times over. What Jakarta gains in return is a platform that can perform long-range strike, shepherded reconnaissance, and high-intensity support for combined arms operations in open terrain, capabilities that make sense for a country with large land borders, dispersed security challenges, and ambitions to project credible deterrence across its maritime approaches. The Apache's operational appeal is clear in certain theaters, where long transit times, robust logistics, and hardened bases exist. The Apache can dominate. Its longbow radar and sensor fusion allow it to detect, classify, and attack targets beyond the immediate visual horizon, and its integration with Link 16-style networks progressively turns it into a node in a larger joint picture. Yet those strengths are also liabilities when geography or budget complicate operations. Heavier aircraft demand secure basing, steady spare parts pipelines, and intensive maintenance cycles, all of which raise the bar for sustainable, distributed deployment across archipelagic environments. The Philippines, by contrast, has chosen a different path: mobility and cost efficiency over raw platform power. The T-129 ATAK, a light attack helicopter adapted for close air support and maritime interdiction, costs roughly $20 million per unit by common estimates, and is tailored to an operational model of many small, dispersed sorties rather than long, concentrated strikes. Its advantages are practical and doctrinal. It is lighter, easier to maintain, and capable of operating from austere sites and smaller decks. In an environment where forward basing is limited, and the range of operations often clusters around littoral and littoral-adjacent areas, those attributes matter. Neither approach is intrinsically superior. Each answers specific operational problems. Indonesia's Apache buys time, reach, and shock effect. It is an instrument designed to shape high-end contingencies and to integrate into a combined network of sensors and shooters. The Philippines' ATAK is an instrument of elasticity. It supports coastal and island defense by offering many low-cost, rapidly deployable platforms that can be massed, dispersed, or rotated as conditions demand. When the Philippine Navy and Air Force pair ATAKs with ScanEagle drones, C-295 maritime patrol aircraft, and coastal missile batteries, they are deliberately trading qualitative single-platform dominance for a distributed system of systems that can generate continuous presence. Doctrine helps explain how procurement choices flow from strategic need. The Philippines has articulated a sea denial approach in recent modernization documents. deny adversary freedom of maneuver across critical choke points through a combination of sensors, shooters, and networks. In that model, the helicopter's value is not as a solo agent of destruction, but as a node that multiplies the effectiveness of other assets. An ATAK that receives a precise track from a scan eagle or a C-295 can perform a surgical interdiction or force a contact to reveal itself for follow-on action by a frigate or a coastal missile battery. The arithmetic of deterrence in that environment is not platform versus platform. It is the tempo and resilience of a distributed kill chain. Practical experience in the region underscores these trade-offs. Indonesia's Apaches provide a credible punch during exercises and in operations that rely on established logistics and command infrastructure. They demonstrate how a modern, networked ATAK helicopter can shape operational outcomes when used within a broader joint construct. But the Philippines' early use of ATAKs in counterinsurgency, maritime interdiction, and rapid reaction missions has shown a different kind of effectiveness: simpler logistics, faster sortie generation, and the ability to sustain presence across many littoral outposts. That presence matters politically as much as militarily. A helicopter that can launch from a forward island and respond within the hour is often the difference between deterrence and crisis. Technology trends blur the line between the two approaches. Sensor networking, small unmanned aerial systems, and data link integration allow lighter platforms to punch above their weight. Equipping ATAKs with helmet-mounted displays, laser designators, and short-range air-to-air missiles increases survivability and mission flexibility. Indonesia's investment in Link 16 integration for its Apache fleet suggests a reciprocal logic. Heavier platforms, when properly networked, can operate more effectively in littoral contexts too. In short, the debates are migrating from platform absolutism to systems engineering. How do you fuse sensors, effectors, and command nodes to create a resilient, adaptive battle space? Costs and sustainment remain the decisive constraints. For many Southeast Asian arsenals, procurement choices are not abstract preferences, but budgetary realities. The Philippines' emphasis on a lighter helicopter fleet and the use of unmanned systems is a pragmatic response to limited defense budgets and the need for widely distributed presence. Indonesia's purchase of Apaches signals both greater resource commitment and different strategic priorities. Both nations can learn from one another. Indonesia can examine ways to make heavy platforms more expeditionary and easier to sustain in islands. The Philippines can explore modular upgrades that increase ATAK's reach and integration without assuming the maintenance burden of larger aircraft. Strategically, the most consequential outcome of these divergent choices is how they affect regional stability. If every state seeks heavy, expensive platforms, the risk is an arms dynamic that privileges quantity of high-value platforms without attending to sustainment or regional integration. If instead states choose a mix of lightweight systems, drones, and networked sensors, the region may move toward a more resilient, redundant security architecture, albeit one with different escalation dynamics. For the Philippines, the current path, coupling ATAKs to maritime patrol aircraft, drones, and coastal strike systems, creates a posture that aims to complicate an adversary's calculus without provoking open escalation. For the Filipino viewer, the practical question is straightforward. Which model delivers the most security per peso? The answer is contextual. In places where infrastructure and funding permit, heavy attack helicopters provide capabilities that are otherwise unavailable. Where geography, budget, and the need for distributed presence dominate, lighter helicopters, when intelligently networked, achieve the necessary strategic effects. The policy implication is equally plain. Invest in networks, logistics, and training as much as in platforms. A helicopter that cannot fly because spare parts are unavailable produces no deterrent effect. A cheap UAV that transmits precise targeting data does. Ultimately, the contrast between Indonesia's Apache and the Philippines' ATAK illustrates a wider lesson about defense modernization in Southeast Asia. Hardware choices follow logic, geography, doctrine, budget, and alliance relationships. The challenge for policymakers is to make those choices coherent, to align acquisition with doctrine, sustainment, and interdependence. For viewers who care about the Philippine Armed Forces, the debate is less about brand loyalty to a rotorcraft model and more about whether Manila is building a force that fits its strategic environment. So long as the Philippines continues to bind its light attack helicopters into a broader sensor-to-shooter network, it will retain flexible, credible options for defending its archipelago. The choice to be light and networked is not a concession, it is a calculation in strategy.